Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy and most populous country, is reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. A steep drop in the international oil prices, Nigeria's major export since the outbreak of the coronavirus, has sparked fears of a recession, with the World Food Programme warning of an impending recession, which could unleash a situation of widespread hunger.
I'd like to lay out for you very clearly what the world is facing at this very moment. At the same time, while we're dealing with COVID-19 pandemic, we're also on the brink of a hunger pandemic.
In a country where some 90 million people live on less than $2 a day, alarmed by a potential rise in food insecurity during the COVID-19 pandemic, many countries and organizations are mounting special efforts to keep agriculture safely running as an essential business. Markets well supplied in affordable and nutritious food, and consumers still able to access and purchase food despite movement restrictions and income losses. Food insecurity is by and large not driven by food shortage, disruptions to the supply of agriculture inputs such as fertilizers, seeds or labor shortage, but also by lack of good road infrastructure, and conflict-affected states could create a situation of food insecurity in the country. Some of the greatest problems confronting rural farmers and communities in Nigeria are the absence of critical infrastructure such as motorable roads, storage facilities, and irrigation facilities, amongst others. Farmers continue to suffer low levels of agricultural productivity due to the infrastructural deficit across the country, which reduces their profit and impact on their capacity to increase productivity. The provision of critical infrastructure is a prerequisite for enabling every state to stimulate economic growth and to reach the targets for economic diversification and food security in Nigeria.
The principle of leaving no one behind through development for inclusive societies is the core for sustainable development, which Nigeria is signatory to. Investment in transportation infrastructure is recognized as highly crucial for the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, which includes the promotion of economic growth, industrialization, sustainable cities and communities, as well as reduced inequalities. Earlier on, I had a chat with the Executive Governor of Benue State on the latest development on road infrastructure for the state. What has been the impact on agricultural capacity of Benue State right now, being the food basket of the nation, connecting different states and ensuring that everybody is well fed? Can you tell me a little bit about that currently?
Well, for us in Benue State, I must say that we're grateful to God and the security agencies. They have really helped to curb the level of insecurity that we were in. Transportation is very, very critical, whether in urban areas or in rural areas. So we've been able to do this connection. And as a food basket of the nation, we believe that road network will link the rural people where this food is cultivated and harvested and transported to the urban areas. It makes things easier. So it is part of our attempt to boost agriculture and make sure that despite all the challenges that we have, let us take advantage of the area where we have comparative advantage, and that is agriculture. So road and agriculture and transport cannot be separated.
What are some of the plans to ensure that it's sustainable and that more communities will have access to better road networks?
Well, I think that all is based on paucity of funds. When I came in as governor of Benue State, I inherited a debt of 70 billion pension arrears, salaries and gratuity, and so on. Then contractual obligations were over 80 billion. I can say that the reason we had to delay this much was as a result of paucity of funds. Otherwise, road construction, urban renewal, and all this we are doing today, we are part of our objective right from the beginning. We had the vision and we saw the need for it, but we were restrained as a result of paucity of funds.
Amidst this pandemic, how has the COVID-19 affected the production of food and the supply chains in the state?
Yeah, as you know, just like any other industry, the COVID-19 has been very challenging because a lot of things that we planned and hoped to do were impacted by COVID due to the restrictions that we experienced in trying to contain the pandemic. So a lot of the movements of people and goods was impacted. Some of our input suppliers that we normally provide to our farmers were impacted because of the restrictions occasioned by COVID. So despite those challenges, we have tried to sustain our efforts in delivering inputs and services to our farmers so that we don't fold our arms and just give excuse about COVID being an obstacle in our way. So we have succeeded in providing some of the inputs to our farmers for the last cropping season, including fertilizers and seeds and other logistics that we normally provide to them to enable them to continue with their agricultural production. So despite those challenges, we have been able to help them to continue with the support that we normally give to the farmers in Benue State.
The project was initiated in conformity with the National Travel and Transport Policy of Nigeria. They are looking at creating all year-round access for the rural people. You know, most of this, about 70% of Nigerians live in the rural areas.
Yes.
And that is where the emphasis should be, as long as sustainable development goals are concerned. So the project looks at creating all year-round access,
Yes.
from the rural areas to the urban areas, allowing rural people to have safe travels, and the difficulty that is associated with traveling in the rural areas should be reduced, and also the travel time should be cut down to the barest minimum.
What mechanisms do you put in place to ensure that this happens?
Well, in Benue State, we are to construct 500 kilometers of roads.
Okay.
We are to establish agro-logistics hubs. 6 of them in Benue State.
Kindly tell me, what are agro-logistics hubs?
Yes, these are big markets. Forget about the name. They are big markets where the primary markets, primary farmers can converge on, bring in their farm produce, you know.
Yes.
We are going to create storage facilities. We are going to have processing facilities installed in those hubs. We are going to build stores. We are going to give them water, boreholes. We are going to give them electricity.
Yes.
We are going to have ICT labs where the women and the youth are going to be trained on agro-business,
Yes.
how to create wealth and sustain it, you know. And some of them will be engaged in road maintenance gangs. When we construct these roads, they'll be there to be maintaining them. They will have a source of livelihood.
Fellow Nigerians, I want to appreciate all of us. Let's not lose faith in our country, Nigeria. We have no better country than Nigeria. Nigeria is our own, and we have no place. I have traveled around the world, but I have seen that Nigeria remains the best country to live. It's just that things are not right as of today. But no European, no American, no Asian will come to Nigeria to make this right. It is our own responsibility to make things right. The pandemic has come and is about to go, but we are told that it is not going to leave us soon. But we will come out stronger than we were.
So we've heard from the Governor and the Commissioner on Agriculture on the impact of good road networks in the food basket of the nation. There is no gain in saying that road infrastructure and the associated provision of safe, reliable and affordable transport services in rural areas have the potential to bring about social and economic development, thereby reducing poverty, increasing food security and productivity, and lessening the experience of hunger. It really is paramount for states across the nation to invest in good road infrastructure so as to improve the level of food security and say no to hunger. I am Ukeme Etuknwa, and you've been watching Global Agenda.